Hey guys, Marstinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so obviously everybody has been speculating quite a lot over the last couple of days about who we can potentially see as the Part 2 LR on JP as part of the Raditz celebration, or let's be fair, the Turles celebration, let's call it. Turles and Nappa celebration, let's call it that. So it'll be very interesting to see who it's going to be. Obviously, Golden Week is expected to come at the end of the month, hopefully for both versions. Global, obviously, you know, both versions of the game kind of dead at the moment. I did post a video earlier about everything coming in Part 2 for Global that we should see coming in the next day or so, or at least starting to release. But both versions of the game need something to tide us over till the end of the month until we get the Golden Week celebration. So obviously we had Raditz release as the new Dokkan Fest exclusive. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about Raditz, but Raditz being the big meme that he is. So physical Raditz was released. He's a Saiyan Saga and Pure Saiyan's leader with the Space Traveling Warriors extra buff. So 200% leader for Saiyan Saga or Pure Saiyan units that are on Space Traveling Warriors. The team itself didn't really bring a huge amount of new units onto like a 200% team, but it is worth considering the theme of the main Dokkan Fest unit. Now, obviously there are some comparisons to last year, which we are going to look at, but let's say, for example, this year that we are going to have an LR that's tied into the Raditz, or at least, you know, his sort of the theme of his celebration. So if we take a look at the Saiyan Saga, obviously there's a lot of characters here that already have cards represented that I don't necessarily think they would redo like straight away. Like we have a Nappa and Vegeta, we have the Grey Ape Vegeta, obviously we got a new Nappa, and Raditz is the Dokkan Fest leader, so it's unlikely to be either of them as an LR. So then when it comes to the Saiyan Saga, like what exactly could we expect to see? So the first thing that I was thinking about is some sort of LR for the Z fighters. Now I don't know who exactly that would include. Is it going to be like Tien, Chaozu and Yamcha? Will it be Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha and Krillin? That could be an interesting card and something that, you know, to this day we still don't really have in the game at all. But I don't know how people out there feel about it. You'll obviously have to let me know down below in the comments, but to me, that doesn't really seem like a hype enough choice for a yellow coin LR. I know there are, you know, a lot of people out there with love for the Saiyan Saga, been waiting for it to get some proper representation in Dokkan. But considering how poorly received Raditz has been, I feel like the Part 2 LR needs to be something hype to convince the player base to like spend, right, and to summon, because Raditz is one of the worst performing Dokkan Fest releases in a long time in terms of the where the game placed in like the top grossing leaderboards and stuff like that. So I don't know if they are hype enough to carry like the second part of the celebration. Plus the other thing that you have to think about, I brought up the Tien and Chaozu card here, is if you look at the teams that they're on, if we had like Tien, Chaozu and Yamcha, for example, let's say Krillin's not in there because he has his own LR already. He could be, obviously. But when we look at their links, like if Yamcha or Krillin were thrown in, they're not going to have Crane School or Dodon Ray or Telepathy. So their links are going to be super limited. And when we look at their categories, they're not going to be on World Tournament. Obviously, they'd be on Joint Forces. They potentially wouldn't even be on Worthy Rivals if Yamcha or Krillin was on there. They'd be on Earthlings. They probably would still be on Bond of Friendship, and then they would be on Saiyan Saga. So they wouldn't be on a huge amount of teams, which I think would definitely be an issue. And then their link set definitely would be a bit of a problem. So the other tab I had up that you guys obviously saw is Piccolo. So this is the LR Piccolo from the World Tournament that obviously represents that scene from the Saiyan Saga. You see Gohan there. A new version of this guy would be pretty cool. You know, we're still waiting on any World Tournament cards, let alone the LRs, to get easy A's. We still haven't had even the TURs, that, you know, the very original World Tournament rewards, get an easy A. So definitely something that will be, you know, looking forward to for the future. But a Piccolo from the Saiyan Saga would be pretty cool. You could even have like a Piccolo and Kid Gohan, because obviously whilst very basic, this Piccolo super attack does have him, Krillin and Gohan. So them together as an LR could be pretty cool. Also, you could have Goku and Piccolo from the Raditz fight. We already have an LR Goku and Piccolo from the Garlic Jr. movie. They're on Movie Heroes. But they suffer from the same kind of thing we were just talking about with the Z Fighters card, where they're not on a lot of categories and their links are a bit wonky. So something that would be pretty cool is like a Goku and Piccolo exchange card. That, as we saw with the Vegeta and Goku exchange LR, you definitely want to make Goku the starting card, because then they get to be on teams like Pure Saiyans and Goku Family and stuff like that, as well as the Saiyan Saga. But then you could have the exchange be the Goku grabbing the enemy and Piccolo doing the special beam cannon, so Goku gets taken out and then the card just exchanges into being just Piccolo. I think that would be pretty cool. And that is if we are sticking to the Saiyan Saga. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at as well, remember that Raditz has a Pure Saiyans and Saiyan Saga leader skill, as well as Space Traveling Warriors. And a character that people kind of talked about a little bit, I don't know if we ever seriously thought it was going to happen, when we were still wondering about what was going to happen for Saiyan Day, but a character who is on Pure Saiyans and Space Traveling Warriors is King Vegeta. So, again, though, like the Z Fighters, I'm not too sure if a King Vegeta Yellow Coin LR would be hype enough to get people to summon. Obviously, if they release him and he's like the new best Yellow Coin LR in the game, then obviously some people are going to be tempted to summon. I noticed that obviously he's not on Gifted Warriors, but it would be kind of cool if they just like retroactively added King Vegetas to Gifted Warriors, because then he would be on the 200% team for Majin Vegeta, which would be pretty cool. Obviously, he doesn't really have any representation in the game other than the Super Strike card. I think there might be a R as well. Actually, I don't think there even is. Now, obviously, we know the Super Strike units are getting awakenings slowly but surely. I think they've only done 2 in terms of JP. So that will happen in the future, but like, there's just no good card for him. So I think he definitely could be a viable option if they go with tying the Part 2 LR into Raditz. But now, the other part I wanted to talk about, if we look at the timeline for the previous year, on JP. So Videl was the Dokkan Fest that came out at the beginning of April, and then when we scroll down, the Part 2 LR was LR Tapion and Minosha. So Tapion and Minosha have nothing to do with Videl and are movie related. So that has obviously got a lot of people speculating about the Part 2 LR being movie tie-in, and then of course that leads us into the fact that Turles got his Easy A and is incredibly good, is the de facto best leader for movie bosses with 170 across the board and 3 key, as well as the fact that he operates as a support unit, so you can just run double Turles leads and then build the team however you want, even if you don't want to run him on rotation, because he will still work really well as a slot 3 floating support unit. So this adds a little bit more credence to the possibility of it being a movie bosses character if it is going to be movie related like it was in the previous year. So that obviously brings us to the speculation of who could it be. There's still a lot of things not in the game at all, like Dr. Wheelo from the old school movie. We could still get like a different Garlic Jr. Remember, the SSR is like the mini Garlic Jr., but then the TUR awakened into the already full power Garlic Jr. So we could get like an LR base Garlic Jr. that transforms maybe. But the couple of biggest options that I think we could potentially see, obviously Bojack, STR Bojack is base Bojack that transforms into full power, and the LR we already have is called Full Power Bojack brackets Galactic Warrior because he has all of his crew with him. So we could get a standalone full power Bojack. And then, of course, once this guy eventually gets an Easy A, the rotation of the two together and then this guy around for support as well, especially on a 200% team, going to be absolutely crazy. So Bojack definitely could be an option. Then we have Lord Slug. So look at Lord Slug has like no representation in the game really either. He has the free-to-play unit who's Easy A. Funnily enough, I did use him on the Extreme Techno items, but really only because of the stun and heal utility. Like, if he was taking hits, he gets absolutely destroyed. And then the physical one that goes into the giant form, maybe with an Easy A one day he could be decent. Maybe if they do release an LR Slug, that would be a great time to drop an Easy A for this guy as well. But he could definitely use some more representation. The only problem, of course, is outside of movie bosses, and I guess giant form if they make him the giant Lord Slug, he's on very few teams. Namekian's still a very bare bones team that needs a lot of buffs for it to actually be good. So, I mean, they got to start somewhere, so Slug could be an option. And then we have Broly. Now, The reason I brought up just the Broly page in general is because obviously there's a couple of different versions of Broly. I can't imagine we will see a Z Broly or a Dragon Ball Super Broly just as part 2 of another celebration, although it is very possible. You know, Tech Broly dropped around the same time as the Go Bros as part of the whole Goku Day, Gohan Day, that sort of stuff. So maybe a second coming Broly, but one thing I was thinking, because Dragon Ball Super Broly, I feel like if we're going to get an LR full power Super Saiyan Broly, it'll probably be alongside like a blue Gogeta or something. Wouldn't it be crazy? The one thing I was looking at right here, everyone's favourite version of Broly, I'm sure, Bio Broly, that only has this farmable free-to-play card that doesn't have an Easy A. So Bio Broly would be an interesting option, but again, he definitely falls into that category of units that are not really very hype, so don't really think that that's a possibility. And so that brings us to our main man, Cooler. Now, there are a couple of options. Final Form Cooler, we haven't had a new one for a very long time. The STR one is technically the most recent one, but of course he transforms from the, well, I guess he's just called Cooler, but it's technically like the 4th form, I think, right? So, Final Form Cooler, and then of course we have Metal Cooler as well. So AGL Metal Cooler, he'll be on the list eventually somewhere to get an Easy A. Pretty much unusable at this point in difficult content, unfortunately. We have the support one, who when he got his Easy A was very good, but again, not really usable now in super difficult content. We have the Battlefield LR for him, who could obviously be very cool with an Easy A. Golden Cooler, they're not going to do anything outside of Heroes. He should Easy A this year, though. So Metal Cooler or Final Form Cooler would be pretty cool. Could definitely see a Metal Cooler, but for me personally, I am very much hoping for a Final Form Cooler, because Final Form Cooler is a super good unit. He's on a lot of good teams. Transformation Boost. Obviously, Wicked Bloodline hasn't had buffs for ages. Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Final Trump Card, Space Traveling Warriors, Planetary Destruction. He's on a lot of good teams outside of just movie bosses. And he has a really good link set. He has Thirst for Conquest. He has Big Bad Bosses, Shocking Speed, Metamorphosis, Fierce Battle. So he works well with units like Janemba. Obviously works well with Frieza units because of the links that they have. But he works really well with other units, including Turles, who just got his Easy A and leads the team. So they could be very, very good. So I did come up with my own idea for what I think Cooler should look like. I didn't go into huge amounts of detail, like talking about stats or anything like that, but this is the kind of thing I would like to see, right? So LR, Final Form Cooler, given Planetary Destruction and Wicked Bloodline Leader skill. Now, we were talking about it in the comments. The last Yellow Coin LR banner was technically the anniversary Kaioken Goku and Great Ape Vegeta, and they did give them 150% leader skills. So, on the one hand, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, which is why I gave them the 2 categories. But personally, 150 at this point, now that we're getting into the 200% meta properly, 150 is too low, right? We want them to be minimum 170. So, I think Planetary Destruction and Wicked Bloodline would be a pretty awesome combination for him. 12 key is the diving kick where he kicks Goku into the cliffside. The Tech Final Form Cooler has that, but obviously we'd want a new cool updated animation for it. And then the 18 key to be a really cool looking Supernova, because obviously STR Cooler, his super attack animation is still really cool. But he does not do the Supernova, the physical Final Form one does. And that is a very old animation at this point. And then of course you can see from the GIF, give him a counter to Ki Blast Supers with this animation. So, I think this could work really well. Even if we factor in like the fact that obviously Dokkan has weird looking sprites when you're in the super attacks because they're not super high quality. But if you cut out this like third of the image here, so just start from like this line here. Regardless of who is doing the Ki Blast attack, if the screen just started from here, so it's literally just showing like an energy ball, and then he pops up and does the punch, and then the damage like comes up, you could still have the effect where the enemy like flies away backwards like they do from other super attacks and stuff. Like that could work really, really well. Like imagine like Omega doing the death ball minus energy ball in the red zone, and then just getting this animation where Cooler just pops up out of the energy ball and smacks him in the face. So I think that would be super, super good with a Cooler to have this as like a Ki Blast counter, just because it looks so good in the game. Like the things that we've seen with the recent animations, the older movies and older episodes, like the animation quality in Dokkan is just straight up better than the source material. So this would look absolutely fantastic. So this is what I would personally like to see. but I've gone through very many different options in this video. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think is the most likely, and what do you think we are actually going to get? Because obviously, you know, they're not necessarily the same thing. What is most likely, and what do you actually want to see, is what I should have said. So what do you want to see most, and what do you think we're actually going to get? Obviously, cooler, like, the hints are there, but it really could go either way at this point. Like, it could be related to Raditz and be Saiyan Saga or Pure Saiyan with Space Traveling Warriors factored in, or it could be to do with the movie because of Turles and obviously the ties with the previous year of Tapion and Minosha being movie related and having absolutely nothing to do with Videl, who was the April Dokkan Fest. So let me know what you guys think down below. Very interested to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think about my idea for the cooler as well. Would you summon if it was this card? I'm very interested to hear what you guys think. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.